All right. Well. With that, we're going to start. I just want to welcome everybody to the morning coffee avec moi, Ivan Sutton, and I just want to point out a few things that are happening this week. Of course, Wednesday night we have Investing 2021 with Stephen Lee and Melissa Raymond, and then Thursday morning, of course, our very own Catherine Davies has Tech Talk. There should be an echo on that one. There should be an echo on the Tech Talk. Tech Talk. Anyway, so so with Catherine Davies, don't miss it. It's always amazing. So this morning, the topic today is so funny that Adam and David and I, we started that conversation about what's the syndrome called?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Yep.
So the topic for today is actually called Voices in My Head. Voices in My Head. So we're going to talk about that. So if anybody's ever been to one of those seminars, right? The seminars where it talks about being an entrepreneur and everything else, and they say, hey, by the way, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to watch out for these few things, because not everybody that you tell about your business or the idea that you're going to want to start a business is going to be happy about it. And then they tell you something shocking about a certain group of people that are going to be the least supportive. Does anybody know who those people are?
Family,
right? Is that shocking?
Hey,
right?
with my parents, easy answer.
I'll tell you something. What's crazy about that is that they're the voices in your head that ricochet around the most, right? Those voices in your head. But there are others too. There are voices in your head that that are good. Like, I mean, those that are religious, it tells you that with God everything is possible, so that's good. It's motivating, right? There are other voices in your head of people who care about you, especially folks that care about you. I love Bill because Bill is a very supportive guy, and by the way, a great barbecuer. So the point is that you want to have those kinds of folks around you. They always say surround yourself with positive people who care about you, right? So because those voices in your head, but every now and then it doesn't matter. Some of those voices in your head, you choose to shut out some voices, because it's weird that it's not like we take everything as being we don't view all information that we get as equal, right? Some days we say, you know what, it is all good. And then some days we go, no, those negative voices in our head, they're more right. It kind of bums you out, right?
Yeah.
So today, I just wanted to kind of chat about what David, when you're in a bummed out mood, which I can't see it because, he's got a great life and he can see Detroit across the river and he's got a boat.
That's it.
Kind of pisses me off. Anyway, but what do you do to motivate yourself when the negative voices kind of creep in there?
Oh, well, see, me, I always have, as you well know, projects on the go, right? I have multiple projects. So what I do is I always keep at least one project going on that makes me feel good. So right now I've actually got a thing that I started recently, which is a charity thing. And so there's a project that I'm working with. It's with a group called the Giving 8. And basically we're 8 business people here in Windsor, and we raise funds and we help other organizations. We kind of act as a flying squad type of thing. If there's something going on,
right,
we bring in our connections and our friends and our whatever to try and help them out. So whenever I start getting a little bit, down on something, I jump into a positive project.
Isn't that amazing? I hate to say that sounds a little religious to me, because when you feel bummed out, you give. That's amazing. Yeah, I love it. So now, but I have to ask you this though, because Catherine, we've all faced this, right? Where you've got a bunch of projects on the go, but every project has a problem. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Sorry I'm late. I had a struggling sister in college asking me questions about Lord of the Rings.
It's all good.
Lord of the Rings. Wow.
My
That
Oh,
sounds like
sister's in
college.
sociology. My sister's in sociology, and they're investigating like how past impacts of life have affected future like impacts of life. So I talked to her about like how Lord of the Rings is tied to like the Vikings and the Nordics and all that shit. So yes, I'm a nerd.
Brings me back to asking my brother about questions with stuff in university. Like if it was a social science or humanities question, I'd call him up. I'm like, help.
so Catherine. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So what are your thoughts?
I put on one of the Stones music really loud, like Jumpin' Jack Flash, or just to get myself hyped up and get the energy level up, and
Just
remember
turn on
there's
your
nothing
recording.
too big.
Turn on your recording, Catherine. Turn on the video when you start dancing around with.
Yeah, no, dance like nobody's watching for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because this is gonna sound really funny, but years ago, when I got bummed out, I would put on Leonard Cohen. Right? Did anybody know Leonard Cohen music?
What, like Hallelujah?
No. But like so long, Mary.
And it's depressing.
Really depressing, right? Oh, now Indiana is
but you know,
just down and miserable, and or you play Paradise Cafe by Barry Manilow. Have you ever listened to that?
Yes.
It's depressing, right? So what happens is that whenever I feel bummed, I put on either Leonard Cohen or Paradise Cafe.
Something that's worse than you are?
They're worse than me. But for the first little while, okay, and I'm gonna talk about my feeling side here. But for the first little while, you get emotional, you go through it, and then you kind of feel good, and you think, wow, look at me, I'm actually emotional. I'm in touch with my feelings, right? Then after a while, you go, this guy's really bummed out. He's bumming me out. And then you actually rise like a phoenix, right? And you actually motivate yourself. Sorry.
One of the things, Ivan, is, and I'll do this occasionally, and I don't do it all the time, is I give myself 24 hours to wallow. Right? Exactly. I basically say, okay, I'm going to give myself 24 hours to feel sorry for myself, listen to sad music or whatever else. But after the 24 hours, you put
a big problem though, or big disappointment, right? Like that well, maybe at the beginning it isn't, but you gotta move on, like, because I know
absolutely
I've had those too, where it's like, I don't know why I'm down like this, and I can't seem to pull my, even the Stones isn't helping me, but those 20, you can do those 24 hours. I do it too, because I've had somebody say, go ahead, feel sorry for yourself and get over it.
Yeah,
right, you got it.
Deal with it. Yeah, but I like the idea that you give yourself a window and say, look, you have this window and you deal with it. And I mean, even when you read about the way that folks dealt with things back in the old days. I mean, they gave themselves a certain amount of time for mourning, right? You've heard people say, okay, we're in the period of mourning. It's 40 days. 40 days. Let's move on, right? So, but I totally get that. It is hard sometimes because unless you occupy yourself with things of the future, you end up living most of your life in the past, right? Right. So that's why it's really nice to have projects that are going on that are going to lead you forward, right? Like David keeps himself busy by having a number of projects going on at the same time, but then he reminds himself that we're all connected, and he does these really nice things where he helps people out. I think that's an amazing thing. Maggie, go ahead. Tell me what you do whenever you're bummed out. What do you do to kind of climb yourself out of it?
Oh gosh, it depends. Read maybe, read or watch TV, but of course sometimes that screws everything up even more. But yeah, I actually was diagnosed with depression when I was young, like back in my 20s or 30s or something, like 30s, I think.
Yeah,
I have to fight it some days.
Hey, listen, getting out of the 20s, it's a tough time, man.
Yeah, I think it was actually more when I was in my 30s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was probably every time, but yeah.
So do you ever find that when you watch comedy that that it bums you out even more sometimes? You watch a stand-up routine and you're just like, oh, this is sad. The
I
other
don't
day,
watch comedy.
I watched a play, Hamilton on Netflix. Anybody seen it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was good. I found it was so weird that I started to watch Hamilton, and after about 6 minutes of watching it, I became emotional. I just didn't know where that came from. It's like,
Happens to me
what
all the time.
happened with this? Like, I was just like, what is going on? It was weird. Anybody else?
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
normally stoic when it comes to stuff like that, but I have my moments where it can break me. So
Really?
I was gonna say that it happened to me yesterday when I always watch that one episode of The Office when Pam and Jim get married and they do that dance scene down the aisle. I was bawling my eyes out for
Really?
it's a charming scene. I
It's a
mean, I
very
like the way
charming
that it's
scene.
shot. Yeah,
If
I
you
like the
don't
way that's
cry
shot.
during that scene, then you're an emotionless person.
Does it count if I grin like does it count if my grin's like a beaming like a Christmas tree? Because it's really well shot. Like it looks like the actors are having a lot of fun. It's
I agree.
it's lovely.
Has anybody never seen The Office?
Never,
Never
never
bothered.
watched it.
I
Yeah.
love
One episode.
it.
CPR.
Wow. Okay.
It's my
I
favorite.
do CPR at the
We'll do
office.
sitcoms.
Except I use.
That's their old ones.
I like it if only because it's the one instance I can point to where the American version is better than the British version, and I don't say that often.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question for you. I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to ask everybody what their favorite music is, but I'm talking about your favorite go-to music, generally of all, like, because everyone will say, well, I like all kinds of music. I like this, I like that. But what's your favorite go-to music when you are just kind of hanging out by yourself? What's your favorite music? Go ahead, Adam.
I'm gonna sound awful saying this. Death metal.
Okay.
Like metal or like rock, right?
Okay,
Like that's what I go
give
for.
me an artist. Tell me an artist. When
Oh,
you say death
jeez.
metal.
Let me go through my Spotify.
I don't know if it's considered death metal, but I always used to listen to Disturbed. Like
I love
on
Disturbed,
my big
yeah.
headphones, so I don't have to hear my
Yeah.
mother when I was a teenager.
I
So
do. Yeah.
death metal is one out of like a lot of genres that I listen to that kind of fall under the same umbrella, which would just be like rock or like heavy rock.
Uh-huh.
Most of what I tend to listen to these days tends to fall under like just regular old like classic rock or alt rock. So a couple bands I listen to in no particular order: Blink-182, Kali Mossy, Sum 41.
Yep.
What else is there? The
I've
Killers.
never heard of any of those
Yeah.
guys, by the way. Never heard of them.
Corn,
I have never heard of
There
them.
you go. Yep.
You're-
corn
Yep.
Yes,
There
yeah.
we go.
with a K.
Yeah. Which
Oh,
is like the most Mortal Kombat spelling ever. I love it.
I'm glad she said with a K because I thought she said porn. So
That's what I thought she said. Yeah.
Like the
I
thing you eat that goes right through you.
That's a different kind of genre.
So I listened to Korn one time because my daughter listened to Korn, and I was so shocked. It was years and years ago, and I thought, what the snot is this noise? But some people love it. Hey, it's good, right? Okay, Catherine, I'd love to hear yours.
I'm heavy rock, Stones, Van Morrison, ZZ Top, AC/DC.
All right.
Yep. AC/DC is one too. Yep.
Catherine
Me
is
too.
rock. Okay, rock. How about you, David?
oh, 9 Inch Nails. Come on, are you kidding?
Serious?
Good choice. Very good
Oh.
choice.
I do like 9 Inch Nails.
David is so calm. I thought he would.
Oh, that's just
Very
my front. You
Well,
know,
Okay. All right. And Maggie, yours?
Well, tough stuff. I was probably classic rock, but also a bit of folk on the side.
Folk. Okay.
A
That's
little
unique.
bit, depending on who.
Okay. And Lindsay, how about yours?
Left field. Country music.
Okay, country. Okay.
Okay.
I'm obsessed
Come on
with
now.
more
Country.
specifically Keith Urban and Brett Eldridge. But you know what though? Like if I'm like around like family and stuff like that, it would 100% be classic rock, because my entire life has been like Kiss and AC/DC, and more specifically the Police and the Who in my family. But
Yeah.
I
Who's
could listen to classic rock in like a heartbeat as well. So
Honestly,
I find, well, it's funny because my dad used to tell me that like on Christmas Day, his dad, my grandpa would always play country and classic rock together. So now it's kind of like one and the same to them.
Right.
So like, if you really listen to it, a lot of country does have like guitar riffs and stuff like that too. Like there is still a very rock side to country as well.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to welcome Maha. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Maha,
Yes.
so nice seeing you. We're talking about favorite music. You know, when you're just having a normal day, what's your go-to music? What's your go-to genre?
Okay, thank you. This is a question for me, or
Yeah, you bet. You're on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I like 80s and 90s music.
Yes.
80s, 90s. Okay.
honestly, I will say this. I've been when you ask when you ask a question like what's your favorite band, the first thing that my brain goes to is what's my favorite music again? Like I have to
Right.
keep actively reminding myself, because I listen to a lot of music in any given day, and especially when I'm working
Absolutely.
on projects, so it all
Absolutely.
blends in,
And
right?
the-
And listen
sorry,
to the playlist.
And Andy, are you with us, Andy? What's your favorite music that you listen to just generally? Andy's usually often quiet.
Andy.
I'm gonna give him like 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Okay, Andy, when I see you take your mic off, I'm gonna come back to you. But okay, so
Yeah,
here's
I'm
a-
very fortunate. I have the 60s XM radio, and I can play it inside and out of my car. So it's like amazing.
Well, don't tell anybody. I'm a closet Blake Shelton fan, but don't tell anybody.
I'm just gonna
You'll
write
ruin
that.
my
Technically, this is
Only
being
people know
recorded,
that
so
is-
you're telling everybody.
So the reason why I asked you is this, sometimes when I am, I have my regular stations that I listen to, and I have my regular, my playlist on Spotify, right? Well, I've got like 3 of them, right? 3 major ones that I listen to. And sometimes they just don't, when you go back to that list and you hear the same songs again, and you're going, this is not, it's not doing it for me. And then I think, what is the one music that I just don't listen to generally, right? And then I'll throw that on. And I think sometimes now I just go directly, I just say, okay, you know what? I know that I'm not in the mood for anything I generally listen to. I'm gonna go to the complete polar opposite. I'm gonna listen to country music today. I'm gonna listen to country music. And you know what? All of a sudden I start sounding like I have a Texan accent. I mean, it's kind of nice, right? I feel good. My dogs left me, all that stuff. And I'll tell you, it's nice. It kind of lifts you out of
Hey,
that spot.
I can fix your problems there. If you play country music backwards, your truck gets fixed, your dog comes back, your wife comes back. I mean, it's great,
Okay, so
That sounds like a magic Texan.
okay, David, what was the last country song you remember listening to?
Well, as I said, I'm a closet Blake Shelton fan. So God's Country from Blake Shelton.
All right.
I love Blake.
Okay, Maha, what was the last country song you can remember listening to?
This song? I can't remember. This was a long time ago, I think.
Oh, that long? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Maggie, how about you?
I honestly don't know. Whatever Linda might have had on in the car when we were driving somewhere, because I don't put country on. There's the odd song, old song, like The Gambler or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe something, but
Okay.
whatever Linda had on the car last time we were traveling. And I don't know any of the artists, so I don't know.
Yeah, Dolly Parton has come out with a huge set of new songs.
Mhm.
That woman sounds exactly the same today as she
Yeah.
did 50 years ago. I mean, anyway, but it's quite amazing. There's some really good country music songs out there, and I'm not here to promote country music. I think what I'm
I
trying to
kind
say
of like
is
old country too, like Ring of
Harley
Fire.
Pride
I
and
listen to that song once in a while.
See, he was the original
Any
rapper.
Johnny Cash is fine with me. So
He was the original rapper because he never sang. He just talked his music. So
Right.
he was
Yeah,
the original rapper.
A Boy Named
Ghost
Sue.
Riders in the
Yeah.
Sky
Yeah.
is such a awesome. It's
I also like Willie Nelson sometimes too.
yeah.
Well, speaking about the first rapper, has
Thank
anybody listened to C.W. McCall? Remember him? C.W. McCall?
Yes.
Is
Come
that
on
the
now.
Breaker Breaker?
Breaker 1-9. This is a rubber duck, right?
Oh, that's where that comes from.
He's the first
Let's do
rapper.
that one about
Convoy.
oh
You and me
Here's a
both, Adam.
truck.
It's okay.
Yeah.
breaking down or something. I know the song and I'm blanking because an old buddy of mine back in my hippie days used to do it. And I can't I'm blanking on the song.
So when you listen to his music, C.W. McCall, I actually listened to a bunch of his music the other day because I was just in the mood, right? And he goes, and we crashed the gate doing 98. I said, let them truckers roll 10-4. I love that song, man. So anyway, so what I'm saying is sometimes if you just arrest the way that things are going in your day and you just switch things up, listening to different music can actually change your mood. And by the way, this isn't just, Ivanism. This is actually a proven fact. Music has a great impact on your mood.
Yeah.
It actually, the beats in the music actually regulate the way that your brain functions.
That's why a lot of call centers will play Christmas music early on their wait times because it'll calm people down.
Calm you down, right?
And also classical music.
I don't think
Virtual
it
Wild did
works.
that with me, and I was like, not having it today.
Oh, that does the exact opposite effect to me. Anytime I hear Christmas music and it's like the day after Halloween, I just I twitch a little bit and rage.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to hear.
You would love us then because we've already got our Christmas lights up outside and our tree is up inside.
Quiet.
To be fair, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
That's too
people
fast.
doing that because it doesn't really matter, and I think it's fun. And if it's fun for them, it's a good way.
My
for
wife
me to
loves
make-
Christmas.
I was gonna say I did it a little bit
11th.
early for me this year because of COVID, and I have a little bit more seasonal depression than other people. But normally I would wait till December 1st.
Yeah.
You know what
Is
they're
your
doing in
tree up?
Windsor, though?
Is your
They've got
tree
a
up?
thing in Win-
It's going up this weekend.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They've got
I'm
a
okay
thing in
with-
Windsor here, which is
How about-
Shine Bright Windsor. And it's basically just a local thing. Some people started. There's no anything to it. It's just to get people to put their lights up and kind of like bring a little bit more positivity to the
Awesome.
field. So they're hashtagging Shine Bright Windsor or Shine Bright YQG.
Yeah.
Okay. So now before we go around and we introduce what we do to each other and so that we can figure out what everybody needs for this coming week, I just want to ask, how many people have become addicted to Netflix Christmas movies? Every night. Me, I watch it every night.
W channel.
It's
3
just-
times a night.
My
Guys,
parents get the
Not yet,
Hallmark
but I will
channel.
be.
please, they're so
Yeah.
positive and the storylines are so harlequin. I mean, really, like
You know why I like them?
Oh.
They always end well.
they
Yeah, I
always
agree.
Always end good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no matter what ups and downs,
absolutely.
right? How much you cry, Lindsay, right? Because I'm
And
right
even
there
if
with
somebody
you.
passes on, they always some magical snow dust comes down and they're back, right?
You guys
So-
will have to check out in I think it's a week or two, but they're gonna come out with Netflix came out with a home decorating for Christmas show where this guy just goes into people's homes and decorates it for Christmas, and I'm like,
I
yes.
should do that.
Wow.
Small part of me wants to see
Hey,
Here's a
nailed
Those
question
it.
people
for
make
you.
Go ahead, David.
bucks.
Yeah.
I got to run in a couple minutes, but I'm just curious. How many people don't watch regular TV that much anymore?
Well, I don't have cable, but I
Me
have
neither.
like Netflix and
Me
everything.
You
I don't
do
have
not?
cable.
So
cable.
so if you watch regular TV, what keeps you to cable television? What is it? Is it Home and Garden TV? Is it CNN? What is it?
I feel like my
My-
parents only kept cable
News.
because of the news.
If I had to keep cable, it would probably be for sports events. Like if I want to bring friends over, so that way we can watch like a soccer game. Sorry, then we can watch that.
All right, Catherine.
We're
Damn,
sports
internet.
CNN.
Sports. Okay, Maha.
News mainly.
News,
Yeah.
right? News. But other than that, so all those things, by the way, on your TV, if you go to, I think it's a CTV has that live news thing that you could watch, right? And basically, you can get all your news off of the internet.
Yeah,
And of
most news
course-
channels are going live. Like,
Yeah.
You can watch them on your computer or whatever, or on an app. But I was gonna say for sports too, there's like every sport under the sun has an app now too. So,
Amazing.
Yeah, but you gotta pay for them.
That's why it's kind of bothering me that the.
Well, yeah, but I think it's still cheaper, honestly, because I have an app that gets me baseball, football, and soccer for only $20 a month. So.
But they want to tax streaming services now.
Good luck with
That's
that.
not fair. That's not fair.
Oh,
That's not
Good
fair.
luck with
they're-
that.
They're pushing that through right now. They got a big push from cable and Bell and all the other guys because everybody's streaming. So they want to put a tax on streaming services. It'll make your streaming services more expensive. They're hoping to keep people or back with the services that they have with Bell and cable and everything else. Check it out. Check it out. Frustrates the heck out of me.
I don't
Okay.
think that they'll succeed. I don't think that I think that it's doomed to fail.
Catherine, tech talk. That's a tech talk. Come on. We're going to have to talk about that.
It'll give me enough incentive to sharpen my knives for companies like Bell and Rogers. I have no love
I'm gonna
for
be
them.
honest though, like I'm not. Every time that Netflix says they're gonna raise their prices, I'm like,
David.
okay, I'm
see you,
fine.
man.
Run. See you guys.
All right. So,
Yeah.
so
Bye, Dave.
folks, so let's because what time is it right now? Woo, mama.
10
Sita, look at
a.m.
that. It's
There was also
9:57.
something else I was going to touch on, which is that you asked me what music I listen to.
Yes.
Right? So here's the thing. I listen to different music if I'm working and different music if I'm just relaxing, right? And if I'm working, God, I'm going to sound like a turbo nerd. I listen to video game music because the actual beats and the tempo of it is enough to keep you concentrated
started
on a
doing
certain
that.
action.
Don't you find
Yeah,
it makes you
works.
tense? I find the video game music is always like this forward-leaning kind of dun 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 dun.
No, but I love the music. I love the music score from like Kingdom Hearts. I listen to their album all the time.
Catherine, do you know
For me,
what?
it's Mass Effect.
You know what they're
Making
talking
me
about?
feel old.
Yeah. All right.
What are you talking about?
So folks, we're going to start with
Because we are. Oh.
we're going to start with
Sure.
Catherine. Just
I'm older than you.
Catherine, what do you need? What do you need this week? What is it that your business needs this week? Let's see if we can help you.
Clients who need first aid, CPR, and AED training. I do on-site training, so it's being able to bring me into their safe environment.
Right.
I'm looking for industrial, so like builders or any of their tradespeople, right?
Okay. All right. For CPR. Okay. Yeah. Let me actually bounce that past Teresa. I never even thought of this, but I'm going to bounce that past Teresa.
Okay.
You're fishing. Okay. Adam, I'm going to pick on you next, man.
Unfortunately, I don't really have an answer because
Adam, you're
I've
right next to me on the
been.
top of the screen, so I'm picking on you and Catherine first, and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to pick on everyone else.
That's a problem. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer because I've been kind of I've been getting back from like a pretty bad week, and I've been staying a bit away from like freelance stuff for a little bit just to kind of get my head back to normal. So I'm still figuring things out, and unfortunately, I don't have an answer. So no comment.
Can I just throw this out there?
Sorry.
From time to time, we all go through a difficult week, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend that if you're going through a difficult week, borrow or buy a camera and go out and shoot. Just there's something about this weekend. I finally I went to a meeting, business meeting on Sunday, and then as Teresa just said, okay, you know what? We're going out for a walk in the woods, and I'm going, no, please don't make me. Anyway, you're coming, okay? So yeah, she already had the kids in the car, so I pulled it, so we went. And I took my camera. She brought it for me, and I'll tell you, it was great. First of all, I realized I'm out of shape. Second of all, because when you go up and down a few hills, going back to the car was really tough. They almost had to chopper me out. But the bottom line is that taking pictures is very therapeutic, right? It makes you feel really connected to all kinds of things, including yourself. That you end up talking to yourself out in the woods, right? Wow, this is beautiful. Look at the way the sun comes through those tree lines. How have I missed this? I have to do this more often. I got to get out here more often. That's what you say to yourself. So I'm just saying, sometimes you just need a change of scenery. And guess what? Out in the woods, there's not a lot of people. Everyone's socially distanced, right? So, there's a lot of space for people talking to be dispersed. And typically when you're walking, you're not talking too much because, it takes too much energy. So anyway, just going to recommend that. Go ahead, Maggie, what do you need?
More work, more customers.
All right. All right, so just so that everybody knows, Adam is a freelance developer. He does web applications. He also builds amazing websites. So anything to do with that, Adam is your man. All right. Maggie is a content writer. So Maggie does this great writing, copywriting, and etc. So Maggie's looking for folks to, I guess you help them with their blogs. You can write articles, especially for tourism, etc.
Yeah, that's my
and
specialty,
non-tourism,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Lindsay, go ahead. What do you need? By the way, I love your glasses. Just saying. Really enhanced that whole word thing. I
I
love
knew
it.
you would like them.
They look good.
I keep seeing how everybody can. I always was under the impression of never offering promotions because it tarnishes like what your worth is. But now I'm starting to see a lot of people do have promotions for like Christmas time this year. So I'm trying to think of a way that won't make me look like I'm cheap, but like a way for people to come in to start with me. Like I thought about it because like in retrospect, if I'm meeting with a potential client, I'm not charging them for that meeting. I'm just gonna get what they would need first and then figure out what to charge for them in the long run. So I thought about just saying 30-minute consultation or something like that. But I'm just kind of stuck in a rut about that.
Okay. You know, if you'd like, we can have a free brainstorm on that. By the way, the free consultation is almost like saying, and you're going to get free nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone gives a free consultation. So it's almost like it's a ruse.
Okay.
It kind of frustrates people a little bit more, but I think that if you're going to get a client, you know, let's say that you're gonna build a website for somebody, right? You're gonna build a website for them. There's another service that's very, very helpful, which is, you know, the SEO and the social media tie-in, right? So what I do is I say, okay, I'm gonna give you, we'll build the website. You're gonna pay for the website, but I'm gonna give you a free launch strategy. So that's going to include the SEO. It's going to include all your social media tie-ins so that when we launch, you know, we're broadcasting out through all your channels exactly, you know, what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they go, wow, well, what's the value of that? Well, it's about $1,200, but it doesn't matter because it's just your time, right? And what you're doing is you're building the campaign when you're building the site. So it's not really adding to your time load, but it's actually giving them
It's a good way to approach it with wording wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Ivan.
So, but if you'd like, just send me a little text, and if you'd like to talk a little bit more about the strategy. But I
Cool.
think,
I'm off the next 2 days, so we can chat.
okay.
Works for me.
Well, you know, if you want to chat at Starbucks with lemon loaves at your Starbucks.
We have Christmas drinks too. So
All right, good.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
I'll bring my camera to Lock Street. Okay, so Maha, what are your needs right now? What do you do, by the way, Maha?
I'm a product marketing professional, but I lost my job 2 months ago. So actually, I'm looking now into like opportunities, what I can do on my own. That's why I was interested to join this networking session to see like what type of businesses people are managing and seeing if I can start up something.
But Maha, when you say product marketing, tell me more. I'm so, you know, my ears just go.
Okay. Like I manage the product launches of end to end, starting by the like the development phase. I work closely with product management teams to understand the product, try to differentiate it from the competition, and create all the marketing assets that are required for launch and even post-launch. And work closely with the sales teams to understand their sales objectives and focus on the target segments that they need to sell to.
Right. Okay. So what you're doing is you're trying to position yourself to be acquired by an agency, or are you looking to start your own venture?
Actually, I was thinking of consultancy, but still, I'm not sure. I've been in Canada, by the way, for like 3 years, so still, I'm not. I don't understand like what is required exactly in the market. If I did consultation on my own, like I created a consultancy agency on my own, whether it will be on demand. So I'm trying to figure out still in the early phase how things will go.
That's anybody have any advice or anything for I'm going to offer you the same thing I offered Lindsay. If you'd like, just I'm going to give you my information. If you'd like, we can have a brainstorm on that. It would be interesting to kind of flesh out some of the possibilities, because there's so many. Except COVID really, there's so many opportunities, but COVID just limits our ability to educate people about what we're doing, right? So, but we can definitely chat about that. Anybody have any advice for Maha? Catherine, come on.
Just do it on your own terms.
Yeah.
It's your own
Yeah.
terms now. You've been given the opportunity, whether you see it like that yet or not. That you would have never probably taken the step because you probably had a very good paying corporate job. And I came from that kind of environment. I would have never taken that step if I hadn't been pushed forward. And so just take advantage of it and run with it and make it yours and do it how you want to do it. You're probably extremely very good, at what you do. And so now you can make it Maha's, not whatever company that you worked for. You don't have to follow their policies. The ones that you didn't like, you can get rid of them.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
see?
Yeah, that's encouraging actually, because I'm not a risk taker. So I was like not confident if I can really do something on my own. It's good to try anyways, definitely.
Actually, you said you've only been in Canada 3 years. Where'd you come from?
Yes, I come from Egypt originally.
Okay, my dear, you just traveled what, 20,000 miles?
Yes.
And took yourself away from your whole support system.
Right, that's right.
Right? All your family's back in Egypt.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't
That's a risk I'm not willing to take.
That's insane.
You are a risk taker. Look at you. Calculated, but
it was
risk.
calculated risk, by the way. It wasn't like just jumping into something.
Oh yeah, no. I just moved 20,000 miles away from my family. No risk there at all.
Well, listen, so everybody that's on the call right now, for Maha's sake, go ahead and put your information in the chat window so that Maha can then grab your information if she wants to folks. Then that would be fantastic. Hey, Teresa, are you able to talk?
Thank you.
Okay, Teresa, and
what area are you in, Maha?
North York, Bayview and Shepherd.
Ah, nice.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Uptown girl. Oh, sorry.
That's right. But that's in like the really, really, really nice area of Bayview and Shepherd, kind of sweet, right?
Yeah, I wanted an area which is not too crowded because I come from a crowded city. And at the same time, like it's close to downtown, so I can drive anytime to downtown.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, by the way, how do you like driving in Toronto? Sorry.
It's much easier than in Cairo.
Agreed. I've been to Cairo and driving there sucks.
I drove there 20 years. Okay, you can imagine how easy it is here.
How many people in Hamilton
God help you if
in
you're
Toronto?
a pedestrian.
Crazy.
And also, I'll say this about Egypt: may God help you if you're a pedestrian, because you're going to need a miracle.
Really?
You have to avoid being a pedestrian.
When you're a pedestrian, you're also like in a place like Egypt where the traffic laws are suggestions, you're also a target.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful and vigilant.
That reminds me of Rome, so.
Yeah, the priority is for the cars, not for the pedestrian, which is really bad.
I get made fun of by my cousin every single time I come back, and I'm like, where are the traffic crossings? Like, wait, we're going. We don't need crossings.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, awesome.
And these older cities, right? You think they would be more pedestrian than cars, right?
But nowadays they are trying to restructure many like infrastructure. The new president is working a lot on fixing many of those gaps, which is good. Yes.
Yeah, it would be amazing to visit Egypt. Yeah. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
That's one of the main places I want to go.
Oh, you're welcome. It would be nice.
Yeah. So Maha, just so you know, there's a lot of information now in the window for you. So if you want, just make sure that you copy it before you leave, so that you have access. All right. So there's the last point I wanted to make. Now that everyone has pretty much gone through it, I hope I haven't missed anybody. Is an ecosystem. Okay, building ecosystems. Okay, building your network, building your whether it's a referral network, it doesn't need to be a referral network, right? But the key about ecosystems is not just accessing people who are a natural feeder for you, right? So businesses that are natural feeder. I had a conversation with Adam the other day about this. Adam is a developer. He may not be a social media person, right? I don't think you are a social media person, actually.
I'm
So,
like very quiet. I use it for messaging.
right, but social media people that I've spoken to have said that when they get reached by somebody, they always say, by the way, can you also build the website? And a lot of the social media people that I know, they don't build websites. They do social media, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I want for the social media person or the web developer to both say, yeah, I can handle anything,
Adam, be my partner.
and just pull that person in on the call, right? That's
Not a bad idea.
that's making sure that it works, because the minute that you say, oh no, I don't do that, or you say, no, I don't do that, then they call me and I say, I do everything. You
That's
come
the
here,
one thing that me and Ivan actually talked about, is that
right?
I do web design, but it's just so hard for me to focus on that and social media, so I don't focus as much on web design.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, the person that does web design and social media and SEO and all that stuff, but they don't do product photography, right? Then they go to somebody like me, where we do product photography and we do your website, and we're a one-stop agency. Then guess what? You guys lose that business. You might quote it, but a lot of folks just want to keep everything in one place. They want to have one company look after it. They want to give them all, they don't want to think about it. And so therefore they give it to the agency. So what you're doing is you're saying, we might not be an agency, but we're a virtual agency. I'm connected to you, even though you have your own business. But when we come together, we all work for whoever. And so therefore, let's say that it was Lindsay and Adam, right? I'm not trying to be matchmaker here, but let's say that you guys decided to work together. Then Adam, when I say, okay, Adam, you know what? So Lindsay told me all about this. This is great. Adam says, yes, you can reach me at Lindsay's number. Adam will never, ever abuse the trust of that relationship by trying to score that client for himself. It doesn't matter. You know what? Can I just call you back later and just call you and tell you about this? Call Lindsay. Always make sure that because then Lindsay will always use you, because she's developing a relationship with you of trust, that you're not going to try and scoop her business, right? And I'll tell you something, that is the one thing that people are always worried. If I give you that business, if I bring you in and you're kind of in the same industry as me, are you going to try and take my customer?
Yep.
And by the way, they're not worried about it for no reason. It happens all the time. So people are terrible about it. So what I'm saying is, build an ecosystem where you're needed, and then start doing everything you can to make sure that relationship is a relationship of trust. Because I'll tell you, one day, Adam is going to have so much work because he's got 15 people that are pushing business to him, right? That he's building relationships with, right? And so therefore he never needs a sales force ever. He has a sales force, right? Through his ecosystem, through his connection, right? And this is what we're trying to do here with this great city, is to help you meet people. And our conversations are fun and everything else, but they're fun by design. They're fun because we want you guys to interact with each other. Because the more that you guys, you remember in high school, you know why relationships are so great in high school and in the workplace, by the way, just gotta tell you that for sure, is because you see that person day in and day out, every day, over and over and over again. And it functions on the principles of marketing, which is impressions, right? How many impressions of that person? So every day you're constantly getting impressions of that person over and over and over. You're sold, right? They just need to now throw out the right tagline, and have the right packaging, and you're sold, right? So the bottom line is that what we want to do is we want to create the environment where you feel safe to come into that environment and interact with people over and over and over and over again. And through the long term, you develop those strong relationships. And then you guys then make sure it's a relationship built on trust. All right. Any thoughts on ecosystems and anybody who has experienced the benefits of the ecosystems that you can share?
I can just tell you that in my industry, we have instructors that we train to do their own business. So they do exactly what I do. But we have that in place about not taking clients. Like as soon as you find out it's somebody's client, you either say, call them and talk, or I'll call them and talk about it. But there's no survival of the fittest, right? Because there's a lot of dog eat dog out there, and you don't need that. And you need to be able to believe that the people that you're going to work with aren't going to screw you over.
That's like a lot of MLMs are doing the same thing too. Like companies like 31 and Avon will like have a database so that no customer can go to another person in situations like that, because it's so nitty gritty and everything. Like, because obviously you could be living in a city with like 4 reps and you don't like that one person, then you want to switch to another person. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you don't like them and you're not getting along with them, I mean, that's something that
that's like a whole other thing. You have to make a complaint, you have to do this and stuff like that, but you can't just automatically switch.
Yeah,
it has
the
to be a
reps have to
process.
discuss it, right?
Yeah.
And even Adam and I have been talking, right? And I don't know if anything is going to come of it, but I want to know that if him and I are collaborating on something, that he's going to treat my clients, I don't know, the way I would.
Right.
Right. I don't want them to get subpar because they're not my clients. They're his clients, right? It's really super important to have somebody that you can trust.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the thing, right? Like I'm like that's most of the reason why I'm a freelancer, so that way I can exert at least a little bit of control, and I can choose to stay away from things or keep my distance, or be more hands-on than I normally would. And most of how I work on these things is that I work alone. It's different, but so far that that works part of the time if I have like a referral network. None of the time if I have the need of more diverse like job work that I need or something like that, or if I need to dip my toes into something else that's way beyond my skill set, right? So a lot of it is that I kind of like being like sort of the one-man show, right?
Of course.
However I can, but it's unrealistic most of the time.
Because you guys are members of this great city, Maggie as well, is that if there is a conflict, right, then we want you guys to call us in to mediate. It doesn't cost you anything, right? But we want to make sure that the relationship lasts. There's no divorces. You're married for life, right? That's it. You're friends for life. And even if you don't want to work together in the future, I want you to finish the project, and then I want you to say great things about the person. So we need to make sure that that relationship is repaired, so that down the road you may enter into another relationship with them again, to another contract with them again, to do work together, right? So always know that the purpose of what we're doing is for you to build relationships, right? And then if you need help, like if you need counseling, marriage counseling, then great, you call us up and we jump in there and we help you out. And but we want to make sure that everybody comes out of this to the upside, right? But also, I don't want Adam to decide today, I'm not going to refer anybody else to Catherine. No, Adam, that doesn't work. I mean, you have to refer to Catherine, because Catherine is in business and you know the struggles that she's having because you're in business too, right? You don't want anybody to be working against you, right? Ever. It doesn't matter what, I mean, unless they're really terrible, then say nothing, right? However, you don't want to work against people to harm, right? So that's kind of the deal. Okay, so building an ecosystem, I'm just going to give you some. So what I've done, if you have a piece of paper, and I should have created one, but I didn't, right? Put a whole a circle in the middle of the piece of paper, and then around the circle, put smaller circles. Put like 5 or 6 of them, and you're the one in the middle, obviously, right? And then you on the side, write down a list, not in the circles, but write down a list of other services that you wish you could provide to your customers, but you can't. You're only one person, right? that you wish you could offer, write those down, and then find people to build relationships with that provide those services that are going to behave the way that you want them to behave in your relationship. And then you put those people into the circles, reach out to them and start filling those circles in, right? And then you're in a relationship. So what does a relationship need? It needs communication. It needs time. It needs flowers and rock candy. It needs going out for coffee. It needs all those things, right? It needs Zoom calls. It needs face-to-face. It needs those things to make sure that they know. Have you ever dated somebody? Sorry, have you ever been told you were dating somebody that you didn't know you were dating? Right? You thought you were just friends, right? So you need to make sure that everyone's on the same page, right? without the time that you guys spend together, then they might not realize that you're actually in a relationship because you're not putting in the time, right? So that's basically that, right?
Characters in my book.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not
a couple characters in the novel that I'm writing. I'm on and off writing.
Right.
Yeah. The girl who's really possessive in that, she's like a minor character, but
that girl sounds like a major character.
She's dating the main character's neighbor, and he wants nothing to do with her.
Hey, listen, it happens, man. Yeah. It happens. So anyway, so ecosystems, please let me know if you need a hand too, and if you're looking for something, then you can say when we have our Monday morning coffees. If I say, okay, what do you need right now? If you can't think of anything specific that you need right now, then say, look at the ones in the circle that are not filled yet and say, I need somebody who does this, right? And then we'll try and see if we can help you to fill in those folks that will provide you services. All right. Now, anybody have any questions? Any questions at all before we wrap up? Catherine, I love this whole doing things on time thing, Huh? 9:30 to 10:30?
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
It allows you to plan your day.
Yeah. So listen, folks, again, I'm going to reiterate. So tomorrow, we're not doing anything tomorrow, but next week, on Wednesday night, we have our Investing 2021 with Melissa Lee, Melissa Raymond, and Stephen Lee. And then Thursday morning, we have Catherine Davies, of course, our own Catherine, who does Tech Talk. What's the topic, Catherine?
Good one. I'm working on a couple of things.
Okay, all right.
I've been working on guest speakers as well, so.
Right, and you know what? Actually, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull up the website for a second because we have an event coming up, which is our real estate event. Did anybody see that yet? I think it's
No.
I saw that in a newsletter. I think that was being sent out, and I got it in my letterbox or
so you got the newsletter. Fantastic. Okay, so it's on the 17th, and it's called Real Estate Opportunities in Hamilton, and that's going to be with Yuri Nesbitt, who is one of our oldest members. He's not an old guy, but he's been with us the longest. And one of our newest members, which is Krista Boyer, who's also real estate. Krista does commercial, and Yuri does residential. And both of them also deal with investments and properties that you could rent out to students, because Hamilton's big on students. So this is a really great conversation that's coming up on the 17th. So please do mark your calendars. If you are not already a citizen of this great city, please go to the website, sign up to be a citizen. It's free. And if you have a business, we have an amazing package called Business Essentials, which is it gets you listed, it gets you a whole bunch of benefits. So go on in there, and it's really cheap, inexpensive, definitely worth it. All right. Any other questions? Thank you all. Good seeing your smiling, happy faces. Sorry?
Do you have 2 minutes after?
Of course. Of course. And Maha, I hope to hear from you. I hope you have time on our call. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
Okay. Yeah, awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you
Have a
too.
great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Here.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.